This video is purposely meant for you to solve one of the biggest, yes, biggest mistakes that happen time and time again that I keep seeing. I review hundreds of business owners, ads manager, and I see this mistake all the time. And this is where I wanted to be able to go through and how to actually test ad creatives. We are not given a formula, a system, a simple guide to help build structure and clarity on exactly how to do creative testing in the right way. And just because with everything that has changed and adjusted within Andromeda, creatives are more important than ever. However, it's not how it was back then, where you do different words, a slight different change in colors, so forth. It's actually diversity in the creatives that you're having, so variety in what you're creating. But no one is doing very strategically until now. So this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how to do creative testing on Meta ads so you can know what is performing well, double down, have good return on ads spent. So the people who actually scale do one thing different. They run a grid. Every ad is on purpose, every result gets written down, and when one wins, they know exactly why and can double down on that. I'm gonna hand you that exact system, and by the end of this video, you can build your first one today and you'll never guess on an ad again. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Bianca Gonzalez. I run Social Influence Studios. We do marketing for home service businesses like plumbing, HVAC, roofing, remodeling, painting, and so forth. Mostly companies that are doing 7 to 8 figures. I see a lot of ad accounts, and here's the truth. The ones that scales and the ones that get stuck and stagnant and they don't see the results, or just don't get a better return on investment. And it's not anything within the budget, it's not even the ads, it's whether they have a system that's set in place and they're tracking it accordingly. So I created a playbook going over it so you can be able to utilize it yourself. I leave this playbook down in the description. So while we're watching this video, if you want to get this playbook, it's completely for free. It'll guide you through this entire process. So whenever you're launching your next new ads, you can do it a lot more strategic and actually find some winning creatives for this and just diversify on your creative output. So this is the Meta Ad Creative Testing Playbook and how to accordingly do it for your creatives. So let's go to part 1, the builder. This is everything you do before your launch. So here's the mistake everyone makes. They start with the ad, they open Canva, make something pretty, they write a caption, and honestly, it's completely wrong. So the ad is the last thing that you want to be able to do. The customer is the first thing. It's like you should know your customer more than you know yourself to be able to run it very effective. So every word in your ad should come from your customer, not from your head. So step 1 is to find out what your customers are actually saying. When you're doing your avatar research, this is really important not to skip. So I've broken it down to 3 main points. You don't want to have diversity too much onto this because you do want to test the 3 main pain points, desired outcomes, and cost of inaction. So list those down. If you have multiple different variety, I would really do is condense it and just make it where it's the 3 moving levers that your ideal audience is facing currently. There's multiple different ways that you can be able to do this super easily. You can use Cloudco, you can use Reddit. There's multiple different places that you can do market research. I would say my favorite to be able to do it extensively is using Perplexity. Perplexity is an AI tool that helps you search accurate information from directly the web itself. So it can do that for Reddit, any articles and so forth, or in the integration of Cloudco, there's different areas that we even have like AI agents that are able to do a lot of research for it, but that's a little bit more complex. I would say Perplexity is your main bet. So go read how your ICP is actually talking. So these would be homeowners, what they hate, what they're scared of, what they brag about. And when a homeowner says, I just want someone who shows up when they say they will, boom, you finally find what's that moving lever for them. And that's gonna be your hook. So you didn't write it, you found it. That's the whole game. So amateurs, I'm gonna tell you, amateurs guess what the customer actually freaking thinks, or they're not doing extensive research. If it's like, you don't want from another article doing the research, you want it from the source itself. And that's really important. So like, realizing on even Facebook groups, what are these homeowners saying? And Reddit's a really good option in seeing what they're actually talking about and what's their biggest constraints or what are they really desiring. You want to write it all down, their pain, what they want, what they're worried about, their exact words. Then we can finally, once you fill in these top 3 for pain points, desired outcomes, cost of inaction, this is where we can move to the next step. Next is to pick your messaging types. This is not your ads yet, it's just the angle that you're going to use. There are 10 different ones and they come in different pairs. You're not using all 10 of these. You want to pick 1 to 2 different messaging types and that's it. The whole point is you really want it to be controlled and contained for how you are utilizing on your scripts and creatives for this. So what necessarily is the messaging type? It's the emotion that you're evoking on to your ICP. So 1, is it like a pain problem? This is where you're going to evoke a pain. Point 2 is a desired outcome. 3rd is objection handling, social proof, mistakes, curiosity, speed, authority, urgency, and identity. These can all be in conjunction with each other in one creative, but it's also really important that if your ads are not performing well, you can understand, is it the messaging? Is it really not creating a sense of an emotional urgency for wanting them to take action? So really, whenever you look at it, it's not about dumping more money on ads, but you want to take, is this actually evoking an emotion from my ideal customer profile that makes them want to be able to work with me? And so many business owners overlook this and don't realize that you really need to understand what kind of emotion are you evoking through your messaging. So once you are able to identify which points you're going to be able to do, pick 1, 2, or 3, and then let's move on to the next. But also you can do it for what funnel are they in. So if you're doing retargeting, then you're going to be doing more bottom of the funnel content and middle of the funnel content. What does that mean? That means that you've already had somebody, they're not cold audience, they're a warmer audience. So this is where you kind of want to move that lever to really get them to work with you. So that goes to social proof. That goes to any objection handling. And this is where you are just helping them through the buyer's journey to then convert with you. Especially with cold traffic, you do want to gain their attention. And then when you're doing any retargeting campaigns, that's where you just want to make sure to move that lever to get them to finally be able to book a call with you. And that's where you can utilize all different points in the buyer's journey. It's a little bit more complex, and I will save that for another video, but at least you can get a little bit of that idea of how this can be incorporated through the whole entire funnel. And here's some examples for these messaging types and example hooks to utilize so you can have some different ideas of how the creatives can look. And these are for like scripts for videos. This can still be used for static and just a little bit of a incorporation onto that. So like for a pain problem, you can say, you cannot tell me where your next client is coming from. That's evoking a pain from them. A desired outcome can be what a controllable inbound system looks like in 90 days. So the playbook has a prompt library. You feed it your customer's words and your angles, and it writes the ad copy for you. So the headlines, the hooks, the whole thing. One set for video, one set for image, and carousels and lead forms. So you're not writing from a blank page. You're not writing from your imagination. You're writing from exactly the research. And that's how you're gonna make a lot of ads fast without losing control. As you can see, the format library is a diversity of different ways you can be able to utilize for short form videos and as well as statics. So I listed the different formats that you can be able to utilize for your creatives. As you can see, this is the most important one. Like I said, with Andromeda's new update, it's very important that we're not just changing a simple word, a phrase, so forth, or a background. You want to have different complexity of different videos or statics. Don't put them on the same ad set though. So with this, you can do a talking head, a UGC, client story, screen recording, story time, before and after walkthroughs. There's multiple different formats that you can utilize, but this is gonna help you in making sure that you can test on all different varieties. And then as well, we have the image and carousel. So this is gonna help you on what kind of formats you can use on image and carousels. We test both, so even for home contractors, image can perform way better than videos, but also there's a case where video performs way better than image. Honestly, we still integrate both because they're very powerful. It's depending on the incentives, the season and so forth. We always have the combination of both. All right, now we finally made it to part 2, which is building out the grid. This is going to be the complete system. This is the part to steal. It's a simple idea, 1 messaging, 3 formats, and 1 result. So each cell gets the same audience and the same daily budget. They run for a minimum of 48 hours before making any decisions. So I'm also gonna help you in how to be able to look at your ad creatives and see when to stop them, when to put more ad spend, and then of course being able to understand on which should you double down and create more of. And this is where you can finally have more of a gamify and a simpler process whenever it comes to testing. So let me kind of give you the clarity on how this looks. So this is a tic-tac-toe. You can really look at it as like you're doing tic-tac-toe, which I freaking love. What you want to do is, as you can see, the 1 messaging, you're going to have 3 different messagings. So these are going to be the 3 different varieties of messaging points that you're going to do. Is this going to be a pain? Is this going to be a dream outcome? The social proof, so forth. And what you're going to do is create 3 different formats with that 1 messaging. So if it's a pain problem, you want to pick one of the pain problems. Then from there, you're going to do it in different formats. So is it going to be a founder talking head? Is it going to be a static? Is it going to be a before and after? That we're evoking problems. Hear me out. This is where you're gonna have the different formats. Then you go to the messaging 2 for dream outcome. You're gonna have for your hook is like, do you want a fully renovated bathroom this summer? Then you go for format 2, which is going to be looking at the before and afters of a transformation for it. And you use a hook of having your summer with the best bathroom in the neighborhood, so forth. So you just want to have some different ways of how the content is showcasing with that messaging of the dream outcome. And you know what the dream outcomes are because in the very first, this is where we dissected it from the audience. So the audience, we put 3 different, pain points, 3 different desires, and then the inability of inaction. So what you want to do is utilize those 3 points and then create different formats for them. All right. So while you are testing the 3 different dream outcomes that they have and the 3 different pain problems they have, and then different of the social proof, you're going to understand which your client likes. And that's where what you can do onto this, you're going to understand, create the hook for it. Then from there, you're going to finally be able to do it like tic-tac-toe. So once you launch the campaigns, you're going to understand the 3 top different, pain points that you've listed, which one gets the most amount of clients. Then from there, you're going to understand for the dream outcome, which one actually makes them want to take action. You're going to understand that with the 3 different formats. And then from there, going on to the social proof. So now you have a good understanding because while you're testing different creatives, you can now be able to double down on which one is working, especially if you don't have very much of, if you're always just trying to figure out what is working and you're pulling, I always say like all the different cool items out of the magic hat. You're like, maybe we'll try this one, maybe we'll try this one. Now you have more of a strategic way to double down. And whatever is working, let's say if one of the pain problems was you're having leaks on your wall, so forth. And we're talking about a restoration company. So it's like having leaks in your ceiling, And that's one of the pain problems that you evoked. That gets you the most amount of clients. Then we understand that that pain problem is working best. Then from there, we can create different types of content with that specific pain problem. So then you can create different formats of that having leaks in your ceiling. And this is where you can do a before and after. This is where you can do a founder content. This is where you can do a story time, but you understand that that pain point, that specific pain point, is what's taking people to take action to then become your client. And this is where the actual testing goes, because now you know exactly. And you're also testing different varieties for the other messaging. So that is it. That is 9 ads that you're testing, but they're not 9 random ads. They're 9 on purpose of different combination. Now that one rule that makes it all work. Track every box, write down every result, all 9. What's the spend, the cost per lead, the angle, the format, and every one. Because the win isn't one good ad, the win is the pattern that you see. What we're looking at is not just, okay, this one is winning the most. We're seeing what's the format, what's the messaging. And now we can be able to double down and create different diversity and then scale even further. You can do 2 or 3 of these grids and you can stop guessing forever, because now you can see in plain numbers what your market responds to. 1 messaging, 3 formats, 1 result, and the same budget. So you read it very strategically and honestly not like gambling it away. Of course, this is how you can be able to do the creative testing, but I wanted to help on the most frustrating part that everyone usually messes up on. And this is where it's gonna lead us to finally part 3. This is the part that everyone screws up, and this is where you need to scale smarter and read the signals. So scaling isn't throwing more cash at just a winning creative. It's reading the right signals, and I like to put it down into 3 phases. Now, this is where you're going to finally be able to scale smarter. There's read the signals. This is basically from what majority is going to be able to help you. Through the variety of different industries, we've created more of a framework for rules that you can follow when testing creatives and what to kill, what to spend more on, and which to double down on. So you guys can take the time to be able to read it, utilize it whenever looking back at your ad campaigns. And this is definitely going to help you a lot further in making sure that you are scaling smarter and just not looking at what Meta is incentivizing you to do. Because now, as you may see on Ads Manager, they're always giving you different suggestions of what to do. Do not do it. I'm repeating, do not do it. So that's the whole system I like to call the builder. You get your customers' real words, pick a few angles on purpose. Then you do your tic-tac-toe, the grid with 1 messaging, 3 formats, and 9 different boxes so you can track every single one. I haven't seen anyone else do this. This is what I've built because I like to have clarity on different creative diversity. It just helps me a lot further because now creatives is what rules for testing Meta ads. And it's really important that you have these different diversity, and it's just really important to be able to track it and not have it where you're always picking things out. And here's why this beats what you're doing now, because when you run a grid, every dollar buys you info you can use on the next grid. So when you guess, you just buy a result you can't really explain. And of course, if you want this template, then the link is in the description. It's completely free that you guys can use and be able to have a little bit more organization when it comes to creative testing. So do this one thing this week, build 1 grid, even a 3x3, write down every box, and come back in 2 weeks and you'll already see your market clearer than you ever did guessing. So I'm Bianca with Social Influence Studios. If this helped, please subscribe. And if you have any questions or want some further clarity, please don't hesitate to comment down below. I would love to be able to answer any questions. But other than that, stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you on to the next video.